Lieutenant Chris Purley joining us from the local police department there in Conway, New Hampshire. Lieutenant, thank you for being with us. A lot of questions.
Yes, ma'am.
From everything that the family and friends say, this mother would never have left her baby behind. So why has it not been labeled foul play?
Well, first of all, I want to emphasize that the Conway Police Department, during the course of this investigation, in cooperation with the New Hampshire State Police, have not mentioned or commented that force was used to take her from the scene. And I emphasized in a press conference earlier that we are still looking into whether she was there or just the vehicle was there.
Oh,
so I want to clarify a point. I want to clarify a point that's been attributed to me is we have not said, nor are we confirming, that force was used against her. We are looking into all aspects of the case. We have not labeled it a specific crime because to do that we would have to have evidence that points to a specific act. But we are clear and have been clear since about an hour or so afterwards that we are investigating this as a crime because nothing suggests that Krista Dittmeyer would have voluntarily absented herself from the vehicle or her child.
You know, Lieutenant, you've just cleared up a lot of questions I had in my mind. With me is Lieutenant Chris Purley from the Conway Police Department. Everyone, take a look at this baby girl. Missing now, her 20-year-old single mom, hardworking waitress, taking care of her baby. Friends and family insist she would have never left her baby alone in this car. It was 60 miles away from their home, parked at an upscale ski resort parking lot. Back to Lieutenant Chris Purley. Lieutenant, I know it's a ski resort. I know there's an exercise, a gym of some sort close by. Was there any surveillance video at all, Lieutenant?
I can't comment on the specific aspects of the investigation, and I know I say that probably painfully way too many times for the press, but to comment on any specific element of the investigation could impede the veracity of witnesses that come forward and the integrity of the investigation. So I don't want to comment on that specifically. I can tell you that at the time that the vehicle was found, the ski mountain had closed for the season. There is only one other commercial property in the area, and that is the fitness center, which was not open yet for business. And it is somewhat of a remote area, but I wouldn't say it's remote in the sense that it's far, far away from residential or commercial property. But it is quiet there at this time of year.
Lieutenant Purley, I understand the car was still running?
That's correct. At 6:30 in the morning, a passerby saw the flashes on the vehicle, pulled in, presumably just to check on the occupancy if they needed some help, approached and found the vehicle running, the lights on, the hazard lights on, an infant child in the back seat, and no adult either in the vehicle or in the immediate vicinity where she could see.
Okay.
And that motivated the caller to call.
Let me ask you a couple more questions. So the engine's running, the flashers are on, the door is open. Is the dome light still on in the car?
Well, the dome light's still on because the door is open.
Right,
so,
I understand that. I was thinking,
Lieutenant,
Lieutenant, about how long the battery would have allowed the dome light to stay on, and we have called car specialists who have told us that with the engine running, even with the engine running, it would only stay on for about 4 hours, even if it had started off with the engine running. So another thing that's confusing me, Lieutenant Purley, is I know she spoke to her mom or her parents the night before, presumably from inside of her home, but for the car to be abandoned at 6:30 in the morning, she would have had to leave it, be forced out of the home, or have left the home during the night or super early the next morning.
Well, the timeline is very important, and again, it's a component of the investigation that is material to when the vehicle was there and helps us to establish, if witnesses come forward, whether or not they could have actually seen something that they're going to represent. So I can't speak specifically about when the car, or if we've pinned down the time when the car arrived there. However,
is it true, Lieutenant, that she did speak to her mother the night before?
That is the report from her mother, that she spoke
from around
to her.
10:30.
Well, and when you say the night before, it's not a day before. We're talking about the evening of the 21st, the evening of the 22nd into the morning of the 23rd. So,
can I ask you something? Was it about 10:30 p.m.? That's what I'm trying to find out.
Yes, that's correct, on Friday
10:30 p.m., Friday evening, she talks to her mother on the phone. Do we know that she was inside of her house?
I don't know that. She's represented that that's where she said she was.
So she was calling from her cell phone?
Yes.
And has it been pinged?
Well, we have executed a search warrant on her phone, and we have received records from the phone carrier, and we are forensically analyzing those records.
Okay, so I think that means you're trying to get the ping right now.
Yes, we're actively investigating both the phone calls that she received, made, and where the locations were.
Lieutenant, did she have a landline in the home?